Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. And today I'm here to talk about the topic of macroeconomics, which is the circular flow of money or the circular flow of income. So we'll proceed to that. So you all know that any economy is, based on some activities without which it is impossible for the economy to work. And for the economy, there are three basic activities that are really important. That is the production, the income, and the expenditure. These are basically the lifeline of the economy. It's working basically. These are the flow variables working in the economy, and these are also interconnected and linked, and the other cause of each other's existence. If you take an example of the producer, that the producer is producing something, and then obviously if he's producing something, taking the factors of production from the household sector, he'll be paying to them, right, to the household sector, and they'll be getting factor payments. That is their income. So obviously through the production, because of the production, there is generation of income, and because of the generation of income, there will be expenditure as well, and then there will be production because of the demand of goods and services in the economy. So you can see the flow, basically the circular flow happening, that they cannot stop. There is no beginning or end to these activities. Basically there is nothing defined as such. So we'll discuss this more properly, taking each and every phase separately, right? So we'll move on to the next slide. You can see a diagram, right? Basically these are the three phases of the economy when you talk about the circular flow of income or money. So you can see the production, the income, and the expenditure, which is happening because of each other. When there is production of goods and services, then there is the income for the household sector, and then there will be spending by both the household sector and the producer sector, and then there will be demand for goods and services, and again there will be production. So this will go on again and again. And now we'll move on to the phases, basically explaining this diagram, how this works basically. So now let's talk about the first phase, which is of production basically. So when I talk about production, that means that there is some value addition to it. That is what I'm talking about. When you produce something now, then there is what a value addition to it. For example, I purchase wood of rupees 2000, for example, and then I convert that wood into chair, and then I am going to sell it for 5000 rupees. So there is 3000 value addition to it, to the wood basically, that I have converted that wood into a chair, which is now of 5000 rupees. So what basically happens is the producer sector takes the factors of production from the household sector for the purpose of making goods and services, for the producing goods and services basically, and those are basically the factor inputs, and involving also the non-factor inputs, that is the raw material, and then converting these inputs into goods and services for the human wants. And that human wants are unlimited. They cannot stop demanding goods. So obviously there will be no stoppage for the production will go on again and again, right? So that is not going to stop. So that is what I told you in the beginning. There is no beginning or end to these activities basically. So next, if you talk about the second phase, which is of income basically, when you talk about the income phase, then that the household sectors are providing the factors of production to the producer sector, right? And then they'll be getting what? The factor payments for that. If I talk about the land, then they'll get rent for it. If I talk about the labor, then they'll get wages or salaries. For capital, they'll get interest. For entrepreneur, they will get profit. So these are the factor payments they are getting. So basically what is happening, the factors in the factors which are provided by the household to the producer sector, they are getting payment for that. So basically the phase 1 value addition is now getting converted into the income. The generation of income is done basically in this phase 2, where these value additions are converted into the income generation. Hope you get it. The households are how they are basically generating the income through the production of goods and services, right? Now we'll move on to the third phase. Now talking about the third phase, which is the expenditure one. And you know that the income we are generating, the households are generating in the second phase, basically where does it go? Basically, they'll spend, and that expenditure the households are doing, these are called the consumption expenditure, and the expenditure done by the producer sector is known as investment expenditure. So these are the expenditures which are going to be converted into again production. How? Because when they will purchase things, they'll do the expenditure, and then obviously these are the demands, right? So when there will be demand for good, then there will be production for goods as well. So again there will be production, and then again there will be income, and again expenditure, and this will go on again and again and again. There is no beginning, there is no end to it. And that is why these are called basically the triple identity, because there are three things involved: the production, income, and expenditure. And through this we'll move on to a model basically, which I'll explain through taking some assumptions firstly. So move on to the next slide. Now you can see the picture of the model basically, but before explaining that, I would like to explain or mention a few points regarding the assumption to this model. And economics is based on assumptions basically. There are so many assumptions we consider, we take. So the first assumption is we are going to take here is there are only two sectors involved, that is the production and the household sector, the first assumption. The second one is that there is no government sector basically involved in it, because just there are two sectors, so there will be no government sector, and this is going to be a closed economy, so that there is no external sector as well. And talking about the closed economy, what it is when we don't trade, we don't trade internationally. There is no trading between different countries. There is no import and export. That is closed economy. When there is, then it is known as open economy. Hope that is clear. And the last assumption is that the expenditure is done totally by the household. That means that whatever they are getting in the form of income, they are spending the whole of it, and they're not saving it at all. These are all the assumptions we are going to take to explain it further. Now look at the model. As you all know that household sector is providing the factor services basically to the producer sector, right? And the producer sector is providing the factor payments in the form of rent, wages, salaries, profit, interest, etc. Right? So these are providing what? Producer sector is providing these factor payments to the household sector, right? And what I have already mentioned is the production is basically what? The value addition to it. So as they are providing these factor payments, and because of that, what they have done, they have produced goods and services, right? And what is they are going to do is they're going to sell these goods and services to the household only, because they are the consumers, right? These are only involved, they are only involved in it. So they will be selling these goods and services to the household sector only. So whatever the factor payment is done, okay, from the producer sector to the household sector, the same amount is going to be sold to the household sector from the producer sector in the form of goods and services. And I already mentioned that the household sector is going to spend totally. They're not going to save anything out of that. Whatever they are getting in the form of factor payments, whatever income they are getting, they're not going to keep it in the form of saving. They're going to spend it totally, right? So they will be spending in the form of expenditure for the goods and services they have taken from the producer sector. So this is it. This is what I wanted to explain, the triple identity basically. See, these all three things are equal. Whatever they have provided the factors, the household have provided the factors, and then what factors they have provided, they have got the factor payments. For whatever amount they have got the payments, that is equal to the value addition to it by the firms, right? What the production is done, and those goods and services which are provided by the producers to the households are totally consumed by the households, and then expenditure is totally done, nothing is saved. So what is basically the production, then the income, and the expenditure? This is going on continuously, and that is the triple identity. So you can basically understand this. They cannot be without each other. There will be one, then there will be the other one as well, right? If there is production, there's going to be income, and there is going to be expenditure, and again production. So you can also get that basically these real flow, if you talk these real flows in the money terms, then they are money flow. Basically the monetary term or the monetary expression of the real flow are basically the money flow, right? I hope you are clear with this. So last thing what I wanted to explain is the significance of it, which we'll see in the next slide. The significance, as we have already done with it, that what it is and how it works, but why we need to know that, why we need to study that, that is the important question, right? So what I would say is, and what it is actually, so that is that we need these factor income in the process of the estimation of national income. And we all know that while we started studying macroeconomics, we got to know about the variable that is national income. So that is very important. Not so as to estimate that, we need these factors. We need to know what are the income, what is going to be the expenditure, and whatever it is. So first importance is to know or to estimate the national income. Second is about the interdependence, as I've already mentioned or discussed in my previous video about the intersectoral flow, the intersectoral interdependence basically, right? So now you know that how producer is dependent on household and how household is dependent upon producers. Both are really important for each other, right? So I hope this point and this topic is clear to you, and you can ask any question if you want to. If there's any doubt or you need anything in addition to it, I'll be happy to share. So if you like it, then please subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and like the video and share it as much as you can, because sharing is caring, you know that, right? So do share and do support. Thank you so much for watching the video.